Hey there, lovely people, and welcome to Messages from the Heart, where we can take some time out from the constant external noise and just take a moment to focus inward and listen to the quiet and ever-present voice of our heart. So before I start today, a big shout out to everybody in the world, and hope that wherever you are, that you are doing well. And it's a very rainy, grey day here in Adelaide, but I wanted to make this short video to talk about two things in particular and show how they are linked and how they are linked to our life and the kind of life that we have. But before I start that, I want to give a big shout out for my Bali retreat, which is coming up now in 4 weeks. So I have 2 spots left available, and so if this interests you and you are wishing to attend or do something different for yourself, or to take up the challenge and not sit on the fence anymore about doing this for yourself, it's going to be a wonderful, life-changing experience in the best way, and probably very surprising in ways that you never thought. So this retreat is coming up in September, the 7th to the 11th of September. So if you were thinking about doing it, now's the time to make that decision. Okay, so the 2 things I wanted to talk about, excuse me, are the law of attraction and how that plays such a huge part in our life without us, most of the time, without us being aware of it. And also to say that these are the sorts of things, or this particular thing is a huge component of one of the teachings in our Bali retreat. The law of attraction, manifesting the life that we want, and moving away from all the things that have kept us stuck in our life that we think we just had to put up with, or suck it up. I really hate that term, but a lot of us use that term, and we really don't have to. We just need the awareness to know that we don't have to. Okay, so I want to illustrate those 2 things, the law of attraction and manifesting the life that we want, just by sharing a personal experience. And I had an aha moment this morning, and that's why I'm making this video now. So in my life many years ago, I was a single, many years ago, and I still am a single parent. You know, my children were very young. Now my children are in their 40s, one in late 40s and one in almost mid 40s. So it was a long time ago. They were very young. They were 2 and 7. And it was very important to me that I be the kind of mother that I wanted to be, but I also wanted to provide an excellent lifestyle for myself and my children, and to keep all of that in balance, those 2 things. And because of those reasons, I chose that I would only ever work part-time while my children were at school. That was a decision I made then. That was the best decision I could ever have made then, because it allowed me to be the kind of mother that I wanted to be, but also to provide a home, a car, and all the things that kids do, and the sport stuff that they do, everything that they do. So, and my thinking at that time was, as long as we've got enough, we'll be fine. And we always had enough. We were always okay. We always had enough. And I have absolutely no regrets about that. That is what I wanted. That's what brought me joy, to be able to do that. And I'm very, very, very grateful that I was able to do that. And that's great. That was then. But I've been finding in my life of recent years, and for quite a number of recent years, that whilst my life is fabulous, and I'm very fortunate and grateful to have the life that I do have, but it's all been through what I have done. But also, you know, we're never alone in any of this. The people in our lives, our friendships, our inner guidance, our intuition, our soul promptings, listening to our heart, growing as people, and growing through soul expansion and heart expansion, all of that contributes to everything that we are at any given moment in time. But I've been realising for a number of years now that whilst my life is wonderful and I'm very grateful, it's still not where I really want it to be. There are still aspects of it that are not quite where I want it to be, and not where I know it can be, and also it's not, there are things I want to experience that I can't unless I'm where I want to be. And I've been striving and working and all of that towards that, and thinking, why is it only happening a bit? Like, it's happening, it was happening, things are changing. My gosh, I mean, I've got this beautiful new home by the beach, and that was a huge manifestation thing that I played a huge part in that, in bringing that about. But I was thinking, what about the other areas? Why aren't they moving as much as I would like them to be? Because they are moving a bit, but and so I'm, I guess you would say I don't want to say the last chapter of my life, but I'm in my early 70s now, and it's like, this needs to happen. And so I fluctuate between impatience and all of that kind of stuff. However, I'm getting to a point. So I had this morning an amazing aha moment, which I want to share because I believe sharing this story has the potential to help a lot of people. It certainly helped me by going over my own story, by reflecting back on my own story. And I was listening to a podcast by the wonderful Wayne Dyer. Many of you would know of him. He passed away in 2015, but he has been an amazing influence and still is in my life. And he was talking about the things that hold us back, and I'm trying to remember exactly. I don't think it really matters exactly what he said, but it brought me back to this feeling of why. What is it about myself? Because it's always about ourselves, and it's not that we're doing anything wrong. It's that we come up with these protection mechanisms and protection programs and beliefs. So mine was that when my children were young, and they were 2 and 7, and I began being a single parent then, my main thing was to be the best mother to be the kind of mother that I wanted to be, and also to provide for them financially in the best possible way. And I knew that to be the mother I wanted to be, if I worked full time and if I devoted my time and focused on only the financial aspect, I could not be. I would still want to be the kind of mother I wanted to be, and I would burn myself out. I knew that, because I would put 100% into both areas, and I knew that it was going to be too much for me, and it would take away from being the kind of mother that, sure, we might have had lots and lots more money, but I wouldn't have been the kind of mother, and my children's experience would not have been that of having the kind of mother that I wanted to be. So hoping that is making sense. So I came up with this. I remember distinctly, okay, I'm not going to work full time because it's going to be too much for me, and in doing everything else that I wanted to do and to be. But as long as we have enough, we'll be fine. And as I said, that was wonderful then, and it's exactly what needed to happen then. But it's not appropriate now. It doesn't fit now. It's not relevant now, and it hasn't been for many years. But somewhere inside of me, I kept that subconscious decision that I made. It was a conscious decision, but these decisions go into our subconscious minds, and our subconscious mind, our ego mind, wants to protect us and say, right, I don't want you to burn out, so we're only just going to stay at this level of financial stuff and this level of other stuff in your life. You don't want any outside influences to take away from being the kind of mother that you want to be, and these things become very deep-seated, and they end up governing our life if we're not aware of it and if we don't change it, because our subconscious mind governs 95% of our life. We're only working on 5% conscious. We can do everything we want consciously and will it and everything, but it won't change unless we change the programming, the belief, and the choices that we made within our subconscious mind, which believes it's keeping us safe. And I realised this morning, but I more than realised mentally, I had this feeling in this part of my body here that, yes, I was still holding on to that thing from so many years ago, and this is why things seemed to be such a struggle for me in ways that I wanted to move forward. Everything, it seems always so hard. It eventually gets somewhere, but it's always really hard work. It doesn't have to be. And so I'm hoping that by sharing this might relate to something in your life where you perhaps haven't been aware of, but it's only when you think back and you remember how you felt years and years ago, when you made a decision similar to perhaps what I did, or different, whatever, but it's still, if you feel held back or stuck in an area of your life, I invite you to go through this process. Think back to where did you make a decision? Where did something happen that caused you to choose a particular thing, and then it becomes the way that you live, but you don't realize it because you set it in place at the time, and then you just live your life and you forget about it, but you don't realize that you're still living from that whatever it was that was holding you back. So, and the thing is, we won't know this and be able to explore it unless we look at where in our life we are not completely happy with where we would like to be. We don't have to be unhappy, but we could be having like desires and aspirations of things, and we work hard towards them and they don't happen. Like why? Or they don't happen as much as we want them to. These are the areas that's important to look at, so we can really live our best life and live our life consciously. And so these are the sorts of things. This particular topic is something that we will dive into in Bali, and it's not going to be a huge head thing, but it's going to provide opportunity, because in Bali we'll be doing other things. We'll be doing daily yoga, we'll be doing meditations, like really beautiful meditations that will take you on a soul journey, and often these things that you've been trying to work out, they come up into your awareness. They come into your awareness during meditation. So it's all going to be a combination of these three things. And so together with all of this information that you will gather in Bali, you'll be able to come home with so much more information and knowledge. And knowledge is power, And also I'm providing a fabulous workbook that you can use while we're there, but also take home to continue where you started in Bali. And so so definitely you will come home from this Bali retreat literally a new person, and the opportunity is there. And you don't have to, but you can't. I don't think you can be in that kind of an environment and go through those 5 days without changing. You can't, because you're going to be in a total safe energetic container where the energies will just permeate your being just through the breathing and the meditations and the yoga that we do. So you don't have to do any of the head stuff if you don't want to. It's better if we combine it all, but you still will emerge from this retreat a grander version of yourself than you were before, and as will I, as we all will. And I think Bali will be much better off for us having been there as well, and just spreading this amazing and providing this energetic container, which as we know, energy doesn't just stop in one place, it just moves. And so as it moves through us, it will move through the land as well. Okay, so I don't want to ramble on anymore. I hope that this has been helpful and it has made sense for you. And but if you think that, if you've enjoyed this video, please like and share it, because the more people that can be aware that this sort of thing is available, and that they can quite easily and quickly move through patterns of behaviour and will move into the life that they want, the better it's going to be for all of us and for our world. And so again, I invite you to click the link, check out my Bali retreat. I would love to have you join us. As always, let's love ourselves enough to do this. Ciao for now, and much love.